Hi folks, and welcome to the Meaningful Money Podcast, Season 13, Episode 7. This is the podcast dedicated to helping you put your finances in order. My name is Pete Matthew, and I'm going to share with you everything you need to know and everything you need to do to secure your financial future. I'm here to help you make sense of money. Here we are once again. Great to have you with me. Now, of all the challenges facing millennials, there is one that really feeds into all the others combined, and that is financial illiteracy. Meaningful Money was set up to address this because understanding overcomes inertia, right? And with knowledge comes power. And so today I want to talk about what I think needs to be done, a little bit about addressing financial illiteracy here in the UK, share a bunch of resources that I know you're going to find useful wherever you are in the world. So that's what we're looking at today. So looking forward to that. Remember, after the show, I'll be looking at a review that's been left, talking about what's coming up next time, and a couple of announcements. So stay tuned for all that at the after the main body of the show. But before that, remember, this podcast is brought to you with the help of my friends at 7 Investment Management. They've been helping me out here since the spring of 2011, and I could not have got where I am today, 100,000 downloads a month, without their help. They have made it possible for me to reach the number of people that I have. So I'm super grateful to them for allowing me to do this and for all their help in getting me here. So please do check out what they're up to. They're at 7im.co.uk. That's the number 7im.co.uk. Thanks, guys. Go check them out. Right. Most of us leave school with no formal financial education at all. If we're lucky, we might have sat through some PSHE lessons with a very well-meaning teacher trying to teach us what APR is while trying to maintain control of a disinterested class. Some of us have parents who taught us how to handle money. Many of us have never had that experience. I, for one, had precisely zero financial education from my parents, though they taught me very well in other areas. Let me talk first about what I would like to see happen to improve financial education for school leavers and some other thoughts for what they're worth, okay? But then I want to cover everything you need to do to improve your own financial savvy and give you a bunch of stuff to go and look at and check out, okay? So remember, notes and links, and there are a ton of links for today because we've got loads of stuff to talk to you about. They're all at the show notes, and it's the only link you need to remember, meaningfulmoney.tv/MF7 for Millennial Finance 7. meaningfulmoney.tv/MF7. That's where you need to go. Remember also there's a special email address for any questions about this season. Oops, banged the microphone. See, if I wasn't videoing this, you'd never have known that. So a special email address if you've got any questions, season13@meaningfulmoney.tv. Got that? Okay, let's have a look at what you need to know first. Okay, here is how I would fix the education system for what that's worth. I happen to think that our education system is largely unfit for purpose, okay? Now, please don't misunderstand me. I think teachers do an amazing job. There is no way on God's earth I could ever do that job. I think they should be paid twice at least what they are, not because they have to put it with the kids, but because they have to put it with the parents, okay? I just think given that we live in the internet age now with the sum of human understanding available at the click of a mouse, or more likely a question spoken to Alexa. Yep, mine just went. Sorry if I just set off all your echo dots. You can see Alexa, stop. There we go. There she goes. Sorry about that, folks. I really should have known better to do that. We've got all this information easily available by asking her or clicking a mouse. It doesn't really make any sense to spend as much time as we do teaching facts. I'm watching my youngest daughter, Kate, revise for her GCSEs right now. There's still way too much fact learning, right? I would much rather see her taught how to think objectively and analytically, and how to process and parse information so that she can then apply it to whatever it is that she's turning her hand to. And it's getting like that now as she gets a bit older and as we're looking at her A-level options and stuff. But there's not enough of that. There's still way too much stuff that she just has to remember. And it's even the same for me taking professional exams. I have to remember stuff that I will never need to be able to recall, but I can look up. But what I need to know, of course, is how to apply it. So I would love to see the system look more at application of knowledge rather than retention of facts. Now, When it comes to addressing the woeful lack of financial education, I would, I think, focus on the tertiary level, that is after GCSEs, 16, 17, 18-year-olds. It's now mandatory, in England at least, to remain in education, full-time education, to age 18. And that's the point at which young people will either go on to higher education or maybe into the workforce full-time. And certainly that's going to be the point at which they have control over useful sums of money for the first time. Certainly in the vast majority of cases for the first time. So I would like to see, I don't know, maybe one half term, 6 weeks or so of practical lessons developed by people who know what they're talking about. I think they can be delivered by non-financial experts, but I certainly want people trained properly in how to deliver it because it is a crucially important subject. I'd love to see maybe some kind of qualification, a certificate or something awarded based on completion of some kind of assessment. So you've been through these lessons, come up with some kind of assessment or done something to show that you've taken on that knowledge and been able to apply it to real situation. It'd be great if perhaps that would be something that employers looked for or higher education institutions looked for and reinforced somehow. It'd be great if employers who were taking on 18 to 21-year-olds maybe were made to provide some kind of financial education, financial well-being stuff in the workplace. I mean, I just think, had I known how to handle credit cards and how they worked, given that I was given two when I became a student at 18, without any knowledge of how to deal with them, I know I would have saved myself a lot of grief in my own student years. And I just want to sort of help kids understand enough to stay out of financial trouble, really. I'm aware, sure, right, Pete, half a term and, some kind of qualification, plenty of you who are in the education system or understand more about it will probably be shouting at your phones right now. But it's what I'd like to see, something a little bit more definitive, more standardized, and more application heavy. So people will not only understand this stuff, but are able to apply it to their own lives. That's what I'd like to see. Now, there's no way, obviously, that I can fix the problems that financial illiteracy brings for everyone, but I'd certainly like to tilt the odds a bit in favor of giving kids a fighting chance of putting in place good habits so that they don't have to unlearn a bunch of bad habits later on. Now, how would I fix the personal finance industry? Well, again, have you listened to my conversation with Michael Johnson yet? It was released on the 21st of January this year, 2019. One of the most commented on episodes in a very long time. Loads of stuff coming out in the Facebook group and on Twitter and stuff. Michael Johnson essentially is the inventor of the Lifetime ISA, which is an increasingly important saving and investing tool here in the UK. The product, though, which is available today isn't what he originally envisaged. It stopped some way short of that. He named it the Lifetime ISA because he was looking to see that really become a cradle-to-grave investing and saving solution. But in that interview, he talks about what he would like to see from the industry and from the government to help nudge people towards good savings habits. The only thing that I would add to his superb comments, he's way more intelligent and switched on than I am. So definitely listen to that show because I just was basically nodding and agreeing all the way through. But I would add, I'd like to see providers, so financial services providers, pump out much more useful information than has been the case up to now. Too many providers and advisors, they're so paralyzed by fear of being non-compliant and then hence getting into trouble with the regulator that they either add so many caveats and speak in complex industry language, they end up actually saying nothing meaningful at all. There are always exceptions, of course, and there's certainly more good information out there now than there ever has been, but the industry, I think, can do much more. I think it's incumbent on us, those of us who make a living, and a good living, from helping people with their personal finances. I would like to see the industry give much more back to developing financial literacy. I am living proof that by doing that, it's actually a phenomenal marketing approach. Never intended this show to be a marketing engine, but I'm now fielding more inquiries for people who want to work with us here at Jackson's than I'm able to cope with. So it works, the stuff, as a marketing engine, and there's a great deal of good that can be done for the public, sort of general financial literacy. So it works. I would like to see the industry do much more. Just let me take 2 minutes to outline the benefits of a good financial understanding. Firstly, you are empowered to make decisions. really important, and understand the implications of those decisions. Super important. Uncertainty over anything leads to dithering and an unwillingness to move forward. So, for example, in investment terms, this can mean an unwillingness to accept any risk with your money at all. Now, there's always going to be some people who are risk averse. That's absolutely fine. But I reckon more people would enjoy the future benefits of decent asset price growth if only they understood what that meant, let alone how to achieve it. This is one way that I can say with absolute certainty that knowledge makes you richer. An understanding of financial matters also protects you against fraudsters. Anyone who has listened to this show for any length of time would be fully armed if someone, for example, was to contact them with promises of accessing their pension fund before age 55, right? You would know, because you listen to this show and because you're switched on, that the minimum age that you can access your pension is 55, unless there's ill health at play. So you would all be immediately suspicious of anybody that tells you any different. It's why I always laugh when somebody, if I pick up the phone and there's somebody telling me that there's a problem with my Windows computer. Well, I know that I'm actually running Mac OS Mojave, not Windows 7. So I know they're a crook, right? Knowledge empowers me to know that these people are liars. And financial understanding not only protects you against fraud, but it gives you an understanding of the implications of your decisions so that you can move forward intelligently. One final thought before we look at some great resources that you can learn from. You have to want to learn. I have got very little patience with people who don't take their future into their own hands. People who expect everything to be done for them are like children, right? People who complain they never have any money left at the end of the month, but who don't seek to improve their budgeting skills, well, they've got no chance. Unless they want to learn and are prepared to take it seriously themselves, then I don't want to say they get what they deserve because that sounds too cold, but they will need to accept the implications, the consequences of that, because we are financial adults, not children. We cannot expect it to be done for us. We have got to step up. We've got to grasp the future, whatever we want it to look like, and we can shape that future to a large extent if we learn how and then apply what we've learned. Simple as that. Yeah. Easy to say, it's often not so easy to do. So let's have a look at what we need to do now. Oh, see, I pressed the button twice. Genius. Okay, first thing you need to do is to get to know yourself. Really important. Improving your own financial literacy requires first that you improve your knowledge of yourself. How do you learn? Do you prefer to read, watch, listen? I am most certainly an auditory listener. That's why I sort of gravitated in the end towards producing a podcast after shooting nearly 300 videos first. If I'm going to go really deep, though, I want to have something visual to back up the learning. So I've lost count of the number of books that I first listened to on audible.com, and then I've bought the paper copy so that I can mark it up, right, and read it more gently. Remember the voice. I tend to remember and process a voice talking to me, but then backing that up with reading the words and marking them up in pen really helps me. Some things I think it's helpful to learn by watching other people do them, right? So, if it's changing a wiper blade or whatever, then probably reading a book about it is going to be less useful than actually watching somebody do it. But whatever your way of learning, the internet will provide. I think you can also benefit from understanding the best time for you to learn. So is it during your commute? Can you put that time to better use? Is it walking the dog, lying in the bath, early in the morning, or last thing at night? Right? Find your ideal learning time and your method and then go all in on that. And there's plenty of resources in each way of learning to help you. So let's look at the written word first. Easily the richest seam to mine for good information. Some great books first to get you started. I've covered these in a 5-Minute Friday video a few weeks ago, 2-3 weeks ago. So I'll be quick on these. Dave Ramsey's The Total Money Makeover. Great for anybody who's looking to get out of debt and make a really good start to getting their finances on a firm footing. The Automatic Millionaire by David Bach is superb for inspiring anybody to pay themselves first. That's a recurring theme on this podcast. Really, I took that from that book. An essential discipline for anybody looking to build wealth for the future, paying themselves first. That's The Automatic Millionaire. Simple Wealth, Inevitable Wealth by Nick Murray. Brilliant book for anybody looking to get started with investing and understand how it really works. One very interesting read that you might not have heard of is Reset by David Sawyer. I'm not all the way through it yet, but it's the only sort of really fully UK-based book from the FIRE community. That's Financial Independence Retire Early community. And not emerging, it's a ballooning movement. More in the US than the UK currently, but catching up. And it's a really interesting book. Some really good stuff to inspire anybody to pursue financial independence. I'm enjoying that. The Meaningful Money Handbook by yours truly is an attempt to, you've guessed it, give you everything you need to know and everything you need to do to secure your financial future. It's meant to be the one book that you need to do that and navigate the financial system. Looking at blogs next, my friend Damien Fay, Money to the Masses, writes pretty much every day on his site. I'm sure it is every day, actually. When it comes to investing, the single most useful site in the UK, I think, is Moneyvator.com. Love those guys. Francesca at From Pennies to Pounds. She's got some good ideas about making money from the perspective of a working mum. Much More with Less is another good place for all kinds of ideas and inspiration. Check out Charlotte Musher as well for her story about beating debt and building wealth with side hustles. Links to all these in the notes, okay? Finally, The Escape Artist is the UK's most prominent proponent of financial independence. Definitely worth checking out The Escape Artist. And the king of financial independence bloggers really worldwide is Mr. Money Mustache. Okay? There's quite a lot there for you to be getting your teeth into. So that's the written word. If you like reading, there's some great stuff there. Next, number 3, let's look at podcasts. Sticking with the FI theme first of all, check out Choose FI. US-based, but some really good stories and content on there for inspiring you. Here in the UK, many of you will know the Maven Money podcast from my great friend Andy Hart. He focuses on financial behavior, and he's working on a book, right? So I'm calling him out here live on the show. Get that book written, Andy, because the world needs it. Financial behavior is something that most people ignore. Making money, understanding the system is one thing. Understanding yourself so that you don't lose money or reduce your wealth because of bad behavior and bad decisions, that's quite another thing entirely. And that's Andy's focus on the Maven Money podcast. Chris Budd, another great friend of mine, has the Financial Wellbeing podcast. Really good for considering the human side of money, right? What it's actually for and what it's all about and how it fits in with a life of well-being and purpose. Martin Bamford, Informed Choice Radio, really wide range of guests. And Martin himself is a respected financial planner in Cranley, down in Surrey in the UK. Damien Fay, again, Money to the Masses, over 200 episodes of that podcast. If you're interested in making money, check out Smart Passive Income with Pat Flynn. It's one of the shows that got me into podcasting. And here in the UK, the Janet Murray Show, too. She's doing some great stuff on making money. Janet was a recent guest, and she's absolutely crushing it with her business. And she shares how you can make money in all kinds of ways. Not one of those ways involves selling vital organs or your kids. Rob Moore, easily the most controversial guest I've ever had on the show. He's got a podcast too, just called Money. You'll either love it or hate it, but definitely check it out. And if you've never listened to Dave Ramsey's daily syndicated radio show, which is available in podcast form here in the UK, it's a US show. You can get it on the radio there. Here in the UK, it's in podcast. You need to listen to it at least once, right? Talk about pulling no punches. So that's loads of podcasts there for you to listen to. I know many of you listening to this will know about many of those, if not all of them, but hopefully there's a couple of things for you to think about. Now, video. I said earlier that whatever your style of learning, there's something for you. Turns out when it comes to video, not so much, actually. And there's over 350 videos on the Meaningful Money channel. But it turns out that nobody here in the UK is really crushing it with video stuff about money. Not consistently, anyway. Mama Furfur, she puts out some good stuff. Brittany Castro, both those are female focused, so if you've got a Y chromosome, you know, you might not dig those so much, but some good content nonetheless. I do like Our Rich Journey for some really down-to-earth stuff about their journey to financial independence. I find those are the most interesting, actually, where it's people actually doing it. My current favorite YouTuber is a guy called Matt Diavella, and his general theme is minimalism. But he's got 2 fantastic videos on personal finance, so I'll link specifically those videos. And his entire channel is brilliant, though. So good, in fact, that I support him on Patreon. I send him money every month because I love his stuff so much. I don't do that lightly, believe me. But it's weird, there's such a need which isn't really being consistently filled, particularly here in the UK. I should be doing a lot better on YouTube than I am. That's a challenge I'm happy to accept. So just to find some more hours in each day to make more YouTube stuff. Look, there's only one of me and there's tens of thousands of you listening to this. So you tell me, what are the best resources that you've come across to help you with your own financial learning? Leave me a comment on today's show so that other people can benefit from those resources. If you've come up with a resource that has helped you, please share it. MeaningfulMoney.tv/MF7, right? And then everybody can benefit by going to that page. Maybe I should put together like an other resources page. I don't know. Would that be helpful? Maybe it would. Let me know. I really wish that I could impose myself on the psyche of everybody here in the UK and impress on them how important this whole subject is. I know that everybody's different. And I know that there are many unfortunate folks who are not in any kind of position to move forward financially because of stuff outside their control or because of results of bad decisions made in the past. Fortunately, there's some great organizations out there helping folks like that. But if only more people knew that so much great information is available for free or for just a few quid to buy a book, petesbook.com, thank you very much. It would be, we just need to keep spreading the message. So many of you get in touch with me and say, Pete, thanks for the podcast. I'm telling all my friends and family about it. And I really, really appreciate that. Let's between us spread the word, not just about this show, but about all these great resources. There's so many people out there putting really good free content out there. There really is no excuse for not understanding this stuff. Okay. So we actually now dealt with all 6 challenges. So actually, I won't jump ahead and tell you what we're talking about next week, but, we've dealt with them all. Hopefully, I've given you some straight talking about the fact that they are challenges, but they're not excuses, that they can all be addressed with some fairly timeless financial disciplines and habits. So I hope that's been useful, but we're not done on this season yet. The last episode in the season, which I'm going to be writing fairly soon, is going to be a Q&A. Aiming to answer the burning questions that this whole season has prompted in your mind. So if you've got a question, send it to season13@meaningfulmoney.tv. Okay, I'm building up a whole bunch of questions. There's loads of them coming in. Season13@meaningfulmoney.tv. And I'll sort of pick out the recurring themes in those questions and deal with them in the last episode of the season. Okay, a couple of things to mention that I've been mentioning for a few weeks now. Meaningful Academy is coming, hopefully late March, early April maybe. A really powerful resource full of video lessons, tools, downloadable resources, all sorts of stuff to really put you on a firm financial footing. It's going to be the ultimate resource. That's what I'm aiming for. Talk about a lofty goal. But we're starting, our initial efforts will be helping those for whom this season is intended. So those who are getting started on their financial journey, learning how to budget, understanding what it means to put a good protection level in place so that your financial future is secured no matter what happens to you and your family. So those who are getting started, that's what we're working on right now. It will be expanded throughout the year to provide resources for those looking to build wealth and for those looking to transition into retirement in due course. So what we're looking for, though, initially is 50 founder members who are going to be offered a massive discount in order to sort of bribe you, really, to help feedback about what it is you want. And so you're going to help us shape Meaningful Academy into something that you want to use and be a part of. So if you head over to meaningfulacademy.com, stick your name and email address in there. If you think that might be something you might want to help with, you're not signing up to anything at this point. You're just letting me know you want me to keep you informed. Okay? So we're hoping to open the doors late March, early April. So watch this space. But one thing that is very much open for business is the Facebook group, the Meaningful Money community. It's a closed group. As I record this, there's over 600 members in there in less than 2 months since it opened. And it's a really vibrant community. Loads of questions being asked and answered by the group, not just by me, which is awesome. So check that out if you want to just share with like-minded folks. It's closed, so you can't It's a closed group, a secret group. So whatever you post in there doesn't show up on your public feed. So you can ask whatever sort of deep and dirty financial questions you want to ask, and the community will help. It's an incredibly supportive bunch of people, and I'm really grateful to everybody that's joined in building it to that. So meaningfulmoney.tv/community is where to go to do that. And let's have a look at a review. This is from Brody MacD from Australia. All right, awesome. Financial literacy is a multinational language. It's a very timely review, Brody. Pete does a fantastic job of delivering important concepts pitched at the right educational tone. This podcast has helped me understand my finances and my own behavior around money. Yeah, super important. From this podcast, I've been able to feel like I truly am able to comprehend my own financial situation and how to work towards my goals. As an Australian, I find it as easy to listen and relate to as I imagine anyone with a grasp of English would. Recommend to all and sundry. Cheers, mate. Thanks, Brody. Chuck another shrimp on the barbie and endless Australian cliches. But thank you for leaving me a review. I really appreciate it. You go on quite a bit longer. It's quite a long review, but I don't want to take up too much space. But you do mention a dry sense of humour. Okay? Yes, it is an added bonus. It's a pretty dry subject, so we've got to add some humour in it. Okay. We've dealt with the 6 main challenges. So next week I want to focus particularly on millennials in a session that I'm going to call Start Young, Start Strong, dealing with the really good habits you need to get in as soon as possible after you graduate or as soon as you get into the world of work, to put yourself on a great financial footing. Okay, so that's what we're dealing with next time. And that's it for today's session. Hope you enjoyed it, folks. Hope it was helpful. Any questions, comments, any resources that you're enjoying, meaningfulmoney.tv/MF7. Hope you enjoyed it, folks. Thank you so much for listening. I'll talk to you next time.